Blood trickled down my face as I stood there, not backing down, right in front of the security team. My son's graduation ceremony, what should have been a day to remember for all the right reasons, had turned into a showdown, a test of dignity in front of hundreds. And right behind me, 6 men in plain clothes, quiet as shadows, stood from their seats. The chief of security took one look, caught the Navy SEAL insignias on their lapels, and went pale. I bet you're already wondering how a high school graduation could turn into a battlefield like that. You know what I mean? Let me back up a sec. That morning, I'd pulled on my marine dress blues, the fabric familiar under my hands, the medals and ribbons catching the light, each one a memory from 24 years in uniform, 3 continents, more stories than I care to count. But this day, it wasn't about me. It was about my boy, Tyron, graduating with honors from Westridge Academy, the kind of school where most of the families park their German cars beside the ivy-covered walls, where my kid was one of just 7 black students out of 120. Vanessa, my wife, caught me fussing with my tie and just smiled proud, worried, trying to hide that worry like she always does. "Remember what happened at the winter concert?" she asked, smoothing my collar. The guards had followed me everywhere that night, like I was a threat, not a parent. I told her today would be different, but you could hear the doubt in my voice. "The guys will be there," I said, meaning my old SEAL brothers scattered around the country, but coming together for my son, for me. They'd faced hell with me and come out the other side, and if you've ever been in a fight like that, you know race doesn't matter, only trust. Tyron appeared in his cap and gown, tall and proud, trying to hide the nerves in his voice. "How do I look, Dad?" he asked. "Like a man with the world at his feet." I told him, and I meant it. The drive through town toward Westridge showed that line between haves and have-nots, so clearly our old sedan, surrounded by Mercedes and Teslas, the campus looking like something out of a movie set, all columns and manicured lawns. We walked past clusters of parents in designer suits and pearls, heads turning, whispers starting up. I knew that look, that calculations eyesing me up, wondering if I belonged. Tyron saw my jaw tighten and gave my shoulder a squeeze. "Their ignorance isn't our burden, Dad," he whispered, and I realized he was teaching me now. I spotted James Rodriguez, my comms guy from deployment days, nodding from across the foyer, his wife by his side. The rest of my team would trickle in, taking seats all over the place, habit from years in dangerous places, never all in one spot. At the entrance, a guard with a name tag that read "Pute" scrutinized my invite like I was crashing the party, while every other parent breezed through. "First time at Westridge?" he asked, voice all suspicion. "My son's been here 4 years," I said, looking him in the eye until he grudgingly let us pass. Inside, the place was all velvet seats and chandeliers, every inch screaming old money. I counted more guards than made sense for a school event. Vanessa squeezed my hand. "Focus on Tyron," she whispered. She didn't need to say, "Don't let them ruin this for us." We found our seats, close to the front, a small win. But eyes followed us, some openly unfriendly, as if our presence disturbed the perfect picture. I could hear a woman behind us. Standards aren't what they used to be. First those scholarship kids, now this. Solomon felt his jaw clench, but kept staring forward. I'd been here before, 100 times over. Still, nothing was going to ruin this day for my son. Then the announcement came. Due to enhanced security, some attendees will be asked to show credentials again. The security team started fanning out, their attention clearly on families who looked like us. I watched Hargrove, the head of security, talking into his radio, his eyes never leaving our section. The rest of my SEAL brothers arrived, slipping into seats in that careful, practiced way that comes from years of scanning for threats. The ceremony began, all pomp and circumstance, Headmaster Kensington delivering a speech about tradition and leadership. I felt my phone vibrate. "Alex, last of the team to arrive. In position for security near SW exit, you good?" I texted back, "Monitoring." Meanwhile, security guards paced the aisles, making a show of checking on us, on other minority families. Walsh, the deputy, stared longer than anyone else, and I caught a couple of parents glancing over and whispering. The tension was thick as the music started up. A black man in a sharp suit took the empty seat beside us. Introduced himself quietly, Calvin Jackson, his daughter graduating too. He leaned in, voice low. Careful. Last year, they removed a father. Claimed he was causing trouble, wasn't. My heart thudded. I thanked him. As the valedictorian started her speech, I slipped out to the restroom. One of the guards peeled off to follow me. Passing the security office, I heard, potential threat, military background, keep eyes on him. In the bathroom, Walsh strolled in, try to play it cool. Just routine, Mr. Drayson. I told him my son deserves to have his family here, and dried my hands slowly, feeling the old anger flare up, but keeping it in check. Back in my seat, Vanessa leaned over. They've been questioning Tyrant about you. Then a text from my son. Dad, they're saying it might be safer if you wait outside. What's going on? I could feel the room closing in, security circling, the principal, senator, and chief of security whispering near the stage, all glancing our way. My phone buzzed again, one of my guys, sending a silent signal. Things were heating up. Then it started. An administrator approached. Mr. Drayson, the headmaster requests you step outside for a quick chat just for everyone's comfort. The threat wasn't even hidden. Any discussion can wait until after the ceremony, I replied. I'm here for my son's graduation, same as any parent. He pressed, implied Tyrant's processional could be delayed if I refused. I told him flat out, any interference with my son's graduation will be documented and addressed through the proper channels. Behind me, James was snapping photos Derek was filming. Years of teamwork in dangerous places had trained us for silent coordination. The security team started their approach, not directly, but moving in our direction, stopping to talk with parents, building a paper trail. Vanessa's grip on my hand was white-knuckled. Trust me, I told her quietly. Then, in front of the whole room, Hargrove finally made his move. Mr. Drayson, we need to speak with you outside. I stayed seated. Any concerns can wait until after my son's ceremony. He insisted, citing multiple complaints about threatening behavior. I asked what complaints, what behavior. Had nothing. His tone sharpened. This isn't a negotiation. He threatened to remove me by force. The air was thick with tension. Walsh's hand near his radio. Hargrove's eyes hard. Senator Whitman watching from the side. Every muscle in my body tense, but my face calm. That's how my brothers stood. James stepped forward first, showing his military ID. Is there a problem here? He asked. Hargrove tried to wave him off. James didn't budge. I'm concerned when a decorated Marine is harassed at his son's graduation, especially the man who saved my life. The other SEALs approached, forming a perimeter around my family. Each one calm, hands open, their very presence shifting the energy in the room. They spoke, introducing themselves quietly, military IDs in hand. Their stance wasn't aggressive, just solid, disciplined, protective. The audience went silent, people recording on their phones, the school board whispering urgently. Hargrove's face changed, realizing he was now facing not just a father, but a brotherhood. Senator Whitman tried to regain control, his words slick but powerless. This is a misunderstanding, he offered, reaching for my hand. I didn't take it. With respect, Senator, this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was targeted harassment. Every camera caught that. Security stood down. Headmaster Kensington returned to the mic, voice shaky. We will continue the ceremony. But the damage was done. The story was spreading in real time. My teammates didn't leave my side. The ceremony limped on, every parent now aware of what had happened, social media blowing up with videos and hashtags. When Tyrant's name was called, the entire auditorium watched as he stood, tall and proud, his classmates saluting him with a subtle military gesture. He took his diploma, paused, and said into the mic, "Thank you to my father, Master Sergeant Solomon Drayson. He taught me that dignity under pressure is true excellence." The room was silent, moved. After the ceremony, as families mingled, some parents quietly moved to our side, a small, unplanned integration in what had been a divided space. Board members gathered, visibly shaken, and the chairwoman herself, a civil rights attorney, stepped up, breaking protocol to publicly apologize and promise a full investigation. You could see Whitman in the corner, realizing the political fallout would follow him out the door. That day didn't just change my family's life fight, sparked something bigger. Civil rights groups reached out. My old team started a mentorship program for kids like Tyron. Westridge had to answer for its policies. The media picked up the story. What began as an attempt to push me out turned into a lesson for everyone about standing your ground, brotherhood, and the courage to face down injustice, not with violence, but with dignity and unity. So let me ask you, have you ever seen someone stand up for their dignity and turn the tide in a room? Would you risk your own standing to defend a friend or a stranger against injustice? Share your thoughts. What would you have done if you were in that auditorium? And if this story resonated with you, let's keep these conversations alive because respect, dignity, and real change start with moments like these.